Good morning, everybody. And following on from yesterday's video, which went down an absolute storm, I thought I would today hit on the Conservative leaflet, the Out of Touch comic. I mean, look at it. It's like wallpaper. Look at the size of that. It's not going to be a long video, this one, actually. When I've actually gone into their leaflet, a friend of mine says it quite rightly. It's a lot of window dressing with no stock. There's lots of nice, pretty pictures, but there's not actually much in there about who they are, what they do, or your candidate. So this, of course, is the Horwich and Blackrod version. We don't actually know who they're putting up in Horwich North East yet, so they can't be that confident in Horwich North East. And it is edited by Councillor Susan Baines. So let's go through. On the front page, lots of pretty pictures. A couple of pictures that shouldn't be there. She's wearing the deputy mayoral chains. And in a council chamber. That's actually wrong. You shouldn't be doing that on political documents, because when it comes to political imperder in this time of year, you're meant to have a level playing field. So those candidates who don't have a bolton.gov.uk email address or don't have access to council chambers and town halls, you know, they're put at a disadvantage. So the idea is that you don't put those on your campaign, and there is actually a section in there about electioneering and using underhand tactics such as this. So let's have a look at it. Out and about in all weather and conditions. That's all they seem to do. All they seem to do is actually be out delivering leaflets. And I feel sorry for the poor souls in West Horton, because the Conservatives have not stopped all year delivering. I mean, they've literally taken down a small rainforest to produce this for West Horton. Standing up for Blackrod. Well, she stood up, but she's not done anything. Supporting our MP. Really, you put that on a leaflet? Supporting local businesses. Yeah, there is a Conservative councillor who runs a business, so they're in her business. That's great. I mean, you know, it's fantastic to support it, but shouldn't we all be supporting local businesses, not just the Conservative lot? Supporting the Wanderers. I'm a supporter. I pay a season ticket. I don't just get freebies. I've got a season ticket for me and my boy. We've already pre-purchased for next year. Helping keep Bolton safe as executive member for public health throughout the COVID pandemic. Yep, she did. She used her expertise to go and jab some people. So did my wife, who's a doctor. Lots of medical professionals took their time, free time, to ensure that as many people as possible were vaccinated. Kudos to her that she did do that. Yeah. Again, leading from the front, so again, vaccinating people. Clean up the mess the day Horwich was flooded. Now, this is quite an interesting one there. You see Mick in his loafers and a brush, and Sue in a best, in a Sunday best. When we inquired if they needed any help, we were told, due to the nature of the water that was there, as in it was sewage, it wasn't really clean, it needed to be cleaned professionally, we were told to stay away. They just turned up with a brush for a photo opportunity. HBFI went and raised money for the 3 schools that were affected, and that money's been distributed. I think we saw a post a few months back. Nearly 500 roads and pavements resurfaced in the first 3 years of a Conservative council. Yes and no. The roads have been resurfaced. This was a 25-point agreement plan with all the groups involved. It is not a Conservative council. It is a Conservative-led council. The council is there regardless of whoever's in charge. So again, using their words to try and confuse you. Flicking over to the back, I said there's not much in this. Flicking over to the back, they can't come up with their own tagline. This is as bad as the Labour one where they put, "This is free." They've come up with our tagline, "Putting Horwich and Blackrod first." If you saw my recent video on the railways, you'll see that they actually put Horwich and Blackrod second or last, and it's Bolton Borough, which is always first. In a few short years, Conservatives secured 4 million funding for Horwich Town Centre. They didn't secure it. It was actually Labour early on that gave the money out of panic. They borrowed the 100 million or set in place to raise the 100 million for the town centre regeneration. And it's only because of the rise of the local parties who said, hang on, there's more than one town in Bolton. and they panicked. So they distributed a handful of money out of that 100 million to the towns, including Horwich. And so they didn't raise it. They continued it from Labour. So, you know, I'm crediting Labour here. But it was only given, but the Labour wanted it for the borough and we wanted it for our town. So we got a piece of it through B&H BFI. They've got the £5 million health facility on the old leisure centre site. It's the wrong place, but after about, a decade, we're kind of glad it's happening. It's not them putting 5 million in. Bolton Council have released the land on a long lease, and it's the NHS that are putting the money in to create what is effectively going to be a glorified GP surgery. It's not actually going to be a full-on health centre like you've got at Braithmate or at Crompton. It's not quite what we were promised, but right now we'll be glad of anything, to be honest. It should really be down the local works. Local works is going to be the centre of the community where we should have had a new school. Sue Bain, this is one, and I mentioned it yesterday. Sue Bain says, end the clean air zone tax now. Why did you vote for it then, Susan? As you know, the Conservative Cabinet, so that's the top 10 elite people in Bolton Tories group, voted to approve it without it going through full council. Open, honest, transparent. Maybe not so. But Susan Baines was one of the 10, and she has said privately to our members, I didn't want to do it. Well, that's fine, Susan, but you still voted it because you were told to do so. And that's the problem. If you have a whip, you are told to do it. It's time to fix our broken asylum system. That's the next one with a nice picture of the 10. I mean, if they're asylum seekers, then yeah, it's definitely broken. Again, it's in the council chamber, in one of the rooms in the council. They shouldn't be using that. But it's a national thing. It's a national travesty. And as you've seen, they've not fixed anything. People are still coming here across from France, whilst at the same time making it desperately difficult for those fleeing persecution by Putin and war zones to get here. I don't understand them. And I don't think they actually have a plan, to be honest. They're just kind of fluffing it. But that's a national thing, so we'll move on from that. And then finally, it's just got her details. She uses her .gov email address, which you are not permitted to do, and has recently been reprimanded. And that's it. There's actually very little about Horwich and Blackrod. That's their leaflet. Like everything, nothing really to go on. As I said at the beginning, it's all dressing and no substance. So thank you very much for listening. And I look forward to any questions you may have. I'm going to do the next one I'm going to do is the Blackrod Labour one, because there is a couple of contentious items in there. And I'll get back to you. Thank you very much for listening. Take care.